Oh, it's bright out here. Hi, good morning, and welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. We're here live in Southwest Florida at the beach today. It is freezing, but it's not as cold as I thought it was going to be, so I will be fine. And the sun's coming out now. I think it was 41 last night, which was super cold, but the sun has warmed it up already, thank goodness, so we're somewhere in the low 50s. Yes, hello, happy hump day. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Joe, Judy, Grace, Lily, Thea, Joe, Lisa. Good morning. Hi, Grace. Good morning. Welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. This is episode, I forget, 987, I believe. Hi, Carrie, Steffi, Sunshine, Eve, Mickey. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Mariana, Carrie, Judy, Lori. Good morning. I hope you're having a great day so far. And let me know if you've been crafting. Let me know if you have any questions for me, or just say hi. Ooh, it is so bright. I don't know why my eyes aren't adjusting. I guess because I have sunglasses on, but I do that every morning. So anyway, hi, Steffi. Maybe I'll move the camera just a little further away from the sun. One of the things I've learned over the years after 987 episodes is that you don't angle the camera right in line with the sun and have to stare at the sun as well. So someone's making the Jillian shrug for her mom. That sounds great. I did not see everything. Marsha's crafting. Good. Hi, Kat. Yay, Sunshine's working with Be So Easy yarn, and sounds like she's enjoying it. That's wonderful. Happy to hear that. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great day so far. Can you believe we're at 987 episodes? That means there's 13 to go for 1,000. If you have not already shared your story and you would still like to, this is your gentle reminder to enter your story. So if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, I have invited everybody the opportunity to participate, and there's several ways to participate in the 1000th episode, one of which is to share your story about what the Kristin Omdahl Show has meant to you over the years, whether it started as Yarn on the Beach, then it was Create, Share, Inspire podcast, and now it's the same thing, it's just changed name. It's the Kristin Omdahl Show, but it's 987 episodes, and I know a lot of you have been here every day for the majority of it, and even those that haven't, I know that it's made an impact in a lot of people's lives and in a lot of different ways. And I thought, what would be more interesting than to share everybody's stories live on air on the 1000th episode, to really bring it all together and make it the episode all about all of us, not just about me. And because honestly, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I would not be doing a live show every day just for myself. My life is live, right? I do this to share with all of you, and so some people wanted reminders when it was getting closer because they didn't feel like doing it right away. And you know, we all juggle so many things every day that I did promise when I first announced that this was the format for the special milestone episode that I would give gentle reminders every week as we approach the 1000th episode. So we are 13 episodes away. Judy has just shared a link for where you can enter to share your story. There's no pressure. If you don't want to share your story, that's okay too. And if you just want to hear everybody else's stories on the 1000th episode, that's fine as well. It's okay. No worries. However you want to participate, it is totally fine. I may have other things planned for that day, but for sure we're going to share stories from anybody who wanted to share their stories. So there's the gentle reminder. And if you don't want to click that live link right now, don't. That's okay. It'll be in the show notes and it's on my blog. You'll be able to find it after the show. You don't have to miss today's show in order to go do it. So, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Someone mentioned the hat that I'm wearing. I am wearing a crocheted hat. Thank you, Judith. I am getting better. I am slowly getting better. It's not going as quickly as I wanted, but then I've also been pushing it, and I Did not follow doctor's orders in the first week and certainly worked too much and too hard, but I am slowing things down now and trying really hard to take it easier. This is not a beret. This is a slouchy hat. It's the Sylvia slouchy hat from 24 Crochet Hats, and I made it in a separate color of Be So Sporty yarn. This is an additional sample. This is in Be So Sporty yarn in color Dark Amber, which is in stock now. Isn't that a gorgeous color? Reminds me of copper pennies when they're new. I love the color. I think it's so pretty. Anyway, it is one of the patterns in my book, 24 Crochet Hats, and I actually brought out all of the hats with me today in case we wanted to talk about them. And also it is an opportunity to remind you that, and I don't know if you are aware, but Moogly reviewed this book, 24 Crochet Hats, I believe last week or maybe the week prior. I think it was last week. And anyway, there's, I think you have a few weeks to enter, but I will be giving away 2 copies of the book to people that enter on her contest. So, wow, lost my train of thought again. Sorry, guys. Anyway, there'll be a link in the video description in the show notes for where to enter on Moogly's blog, but she did write, oh, Judy's got a link there too. Thank you, Judy. So if you want to win a free copy of the book, you can enter to win there. There's lots of other people that have entered. If you would just like to get your own copy of the book, it's available on Amazon Prime all over the world, and also available as personalized autographed paperback copies on my website, and available as an ebook on my website as well. So lots of ways you can get it. You can also, if you like any of the individual patterns, you can download them individually on my website as well. And you may say, oh, a hat book? I've got so many hat patterns, I don't need another hat book. I respect that. Hats are something that people can write patterns for as beginners, right? There's not a whole lot that goes into writing a hat pattern in respect to, say, writing garments, right? But there is something special about this book. I feel like I've done something a little bit differently in this book than maybe other hat pattern books that you've seen before. No disrespect to other hat patterns or other hat books, but I sized the hat patterns in this book. Hi, Queen Bee, first time here. Welcome, so glad you could be here. So the hat patterns are sized in here, and there's a couple of reasons why that's an amazing resource when you're making hats. We all love to make hats. They're a great gift to give anybody, from your mailman to a delivery person to friends to family, friends and family of all ages, all sizes, and also for charity. There's so many different ways that you can give hats, and everybody likes a hat, especially in colder weather. And even, you know, some of the hipper people like to wear hats in warm weather too. And having different types of yarns really makes that welcoming to year-round hats, because you don't have to make things that are just for winter. You can make things that are more stylish for the cool or warmer seasons as well. Anyway, I digress. The hat patterns are sized in this book. Why is that important? Number one, if you like any single design, you can make it for a baby, a kid, a woman, or a man. Any of them. Like, you're not limited, oh, I love that pattern, but I want to make it for this person and it's sized for that person. No problem. They're all sized. I size the hats just like I size garment patterns. And I feel like to have an entire book of different techniques. There's post-stitch patterns in here. There's broomstick, there's Tunisian crochet, there's motifs. There's so many different techniques in crochet, and they're all sized in a variety of different ways. So it ends up being something that could be a really great learning resource too. Let's say you want to learn a few different techniques. Let's say you want to learn a few different ways to size things. All of these skills can then be applied to yarn substitution of any of the hats as well. I was thinking, I don't know why P came out instead of H. Anyway, so I'll give you an example. Be So Easy had not come out yet. when I wrote this book. So a couple of the hats I made, and I wanted to make chunkier, so I doubled and tripled Be So Easy yarn for them. Okay, so like for example this hat. This one I doubled Be So Baby yarn. You could make this singularly with Be So Easy yarn instead. You don't have to double Be So Baby if you don't want. You could do this singularly in Be So Easy yarn because you would get around the same gauge. But wait, there's more. Let's say you wanted to make something in one of the patterns that are made for a number 2 sport weight yarn. This is Be So Sporty Bling, and I remade this hat. This is the Sylvia Crochet Slouchy hat, and I remade it in Be So Sporty in color dark amber. Let's say you want to make this hat, but you want to make it in a different weight yarn. Be So Easy, or Be So Baby, or Be So Vivid would be amazing, the self-striping yarn, okay? Let's say you want to do that. Now, there's a section in the front of the book that tells you how big you need your center medallion of the crown to be, how wide you need that circle to be in order to create the circumference to fit any size head. So hat size chart is on page 14, okay? So you've got all of that information you need to know here. So let's say you start making this Sylvia hat, and it starts from the center out. Now the hat pattern is going to tell you how many rounds to do for that crown for each size. But if you're getting a different gauge than that number 2 yarn with a number 3, 4, or 5 yarn, you may end up making a smaller size of the pattern to make a larger size finished piece. So it's like the opposite version of messing up your gauge when you're making something, right? This is intentionally manipulating your gauge to create a different size. Does that make sense? So like let's say your gauge is double the original. You would do half the number of rounds. Or that's a little too vague. Like you may end up making the smallest size to make the medium or the large size when you adjust with gauge. But with that hat sizing chart in the beginning, you would be able to figure all of that out. If that doesn't make sense to anybody, we could do this for real in a demo on another day of the show. I did not bring out any yarn or hooks to do that right now, but if that's something that just isn't making sense, let me know, and we could actually do that as a demo day, another day of the show. But if you weren't aware of how many different ways this book is an amazing resource, I'm glad I brought it out and talked about it today. And if you want, we can go over all the patterns and I can try on any of the samples that fit my head. While I'm waiting for questions, I will mention to you that I have recently, maybe it's hormones, maybe it's premenopause, who knows, but my hair, I no longer have baby fine hair. I think I have super duper baby fine hair. And there was a time when I was convinced by a hairstylist that layers were okay with baby fine hair, and I think my hair's just gone too baby fine now for that to work. I cut a blunt cut on my hair the other day, and I feel like I've created so much more volume in my hair. I took my braids out this morning. I slept in my braids overnight, and they actually looked good. And so I put a little bit of sea salt spray in my hair, and I was able to have waves from from sleeping in braids overnight, and I was so excited about that. Like my hair feels fuller and healthier, and all I did was trim my hair to remove layers. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, here is the Sylvia hat. Let's see if I can find the names as I look them up. Oh, this one's from a different book. Okay, so that was the Sylvia. Which one are we looking up next? Page 49. This is the Julian hat. This is the one I just showed you. This is the one where Be So Baby yarn is doubled throughout the project. And so my suggestion is if you wanted to do it doubled like this, you could use any of the 60 colors of Be So Baby yarn like it's requested, or you could do it with one single strand of Be So Easy yarn and probably get very similar gauge. Isn't that beautiful? I love these post stitches in that diamond pattern. I think it is so pretty. And it looks so cute on. Oh, it's so cozy being a thicker hat as well. Okay, and then, oh, I have some messy bun hats here, which I don't have a ponytail for them, but I can still try them on. And that gives me the opportunity to also let you know that the ponytail, the messy bun holes are optional. You could add them to any of the hats, or you could skip them on any hats. So instead of starting this with a ponytail, you could start with a ring and work that first round of double crochets in the ring instead. So let's try this one on. What is it called? Primrose hat. This has a really pretty stitch pattern too. So we've got the messy bun hole up there, which is fantastic when you're wearing a messy bun or a ponytail, but it's also, and you could just ignore it. Look at it, doesn't actually change the hat too much when you put it on, but if you thought that you're never going to wear a messy bun and you're never going to wear a ponytail through the top of your hat, you could close that up instead. So all of the hats that have that hole are totally optional. Okay, let's see what this one was called. This is called the Siri hat, and I believe this one is doubled as well. No, this is singular. Okay, this is a single strand of Biseau baby yarn. Let me just double check. Nope, it's single. Okay, so this one has a beautiful star formation at the top with post stitches, and then it has this beautiful faux cable done in a combination of post stitches for cable stripes. This hat is so cute, and this is in Biseau baby yarn color cherry. Now it comes in 5 sizes, like I said. It comes in 16-inch, 18-inch, 20, 22, and 24-inch circumference. So for all those sizes, that would fit a newborn all the way up to an adult-sized man. Now, if you wanted to do it in Biseau baby yarn, you pick your size, pick your hook, get your gauge right, and you make any of those sizes. Let's say you wanted to do it in a thinner yarn or in a thicker yarn. You're going to go back to that chart on page 14, and as you start your crown, figure out which size of that crown is going to match the size you want to make, and then you would stop your rounds at that point. We can do this as a demo on another day, but some of you will understand this and be able to, take off running. Thanks, Anna. Thank you. I love hats. I don't wear them that much, but I do love them. Okay, then here's another fun hat. If you're interested in dabbling with Tunisian crochet and you haven't tried it before, working something small is a great opportunity to try a new skill and get that instant gratification when you finish it. When you're trying a new skill, it can be really daunting to start with a big project. I think it's very helpful to start with something smaller to get your feet wet. And this one is the Alexa hat. And it is worked side to side. I'll show you. In a beautiful stitch pattern in Tunisian crochet. So it's worked side to side in rows, and then we seam up the 2 sides together and cinch up the top. So there's no shaping whatsoever. A super duper simple exploration in Tunisian crochet that can still turn into a beautiful hat. And it comes in 5 sizes, so you can make it for anybody from a baby through to an adult man. All right, there are some of the, this is the hat I named the Marlin hat. Let's find it. The book is alphabetical too, which I think is helpful when you're trying to find something. How could I not find it? Is it not in here? Maybe the Marlin hat isn't in this book. Okay, the Marlin hat might be a standalone hat. I was organizing, so I put other stuff in this bin too. You might just find this one on my website then. I thought it was in here. Maybe it's in another book. Could be in 52 Crochet Hats, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it has a beautiful crochet cable on it. And this is also in Biseau. I believe most of them are unisex. I mean, depending on what your opinion is of unisex, I don't think that I don't want to limit anybody from wanting to make one thing or another. I mean, there are a couple of designs that are a little on the floral side, but I don't want to say that they can't all be unisex, because of course they could all be unisex. And that's one of the reasons why I size them, because I don't want anybody to feel that they can or cannot make a hat for any particular person. So that's why they're all sized accordingly. Oh, here is a smaller version of that Tunisian hat. Here's one of the baby versions. So that's the same hat as this, but in one of the smaller sizes. Oh, thank you. Someone just mentioned that the Marlin hat is in a different book, 52 Crochet Gifts. However, it is also available, and all of these hat patterns are available as single pattern downloads as well. Here's another hat. This is the Cinnabunny hat. This is tapestry crochet, so again, another technique, tapestry crochet with two colors in Biseau baby yarn. This is Mint and Snowflake. Isn't that adorable? And I gotta tell you, I would love this in an adult size. I would totally wear this. So yes, I do feel like these are unisex. I feel like it depends on what your mood is and what your gift recipient's mood is, what anybody's interested in making. Page 45, let's see. And if you've never made a hat before, I recommend you could even start with something like this. This is the Josette hat. It is done in single crochet. That's it. It's Biseau baby yarn, or Biseau sporty yarn, number 2 sport weight bamboo. Another one of the hats that I feel could be a year-round hat. Definitely unisex, definitely year-round in bamboo. Could also be a chemo hat. Keep in mind that a lot of my yarns, or actually all of my yarns at the moment, are completely animal-free and super soft. All great candidates for chemo hats or other people going through different challenges that make their skin very sensitive. You want to consider yarns that are super soft, super easy to clean and take care of, and also animal free. Those tend to be the best choices if you're doing any sort of charity work for people that are sick and need that extra TLC. So this would be great for unisex, for charity, chemo hats, and it comes in 4 sizes, so you could make it for absolutely anybody. The other thing that I think is neat about having a resource of books, a resource of patterns that are sized, is that you could put together a set of hats for a family, for a photo shoot, or for a family gift, or for a family trip, or any kind of a theme. If you were doing something for a bunch of people that have different size heads, whether it's a family or a group of friends or a class or whatever, you could make them all same color for different sizes. You could make them all in coordinating colors. It would be really great for family photos. I think that would be absolutely adorable. Here's another hat that I think could be made in, let's see, what's this one called? This one's super cozy. Numbers, page 60. This is the Kylar hat, and Kylar. This one has a really gorgeous combination of different cables and different post stitches for that really traditional knit cabled hat look, but in crochet. And I think the cables are so beautiful. And then you can see how the cable transitions into the ribbing here. So it's not that it's multiple cables, it's multiple uses of post stitches to go from a ribbing into a cable where it just kind of moves together. Isn't that cool? And again, sized. And yes, you know what? If you want me to be honest with you, I ran out of yarn on this, on the color here, and I didn't want to dip into a second ball, and I had some extra yarn in the other color, and I thought, you know what, this would be a great opportunity to share with other people that you could use leftover yarn to work a color block section on a hat. Because I realized that in the real world, and as someone that's worked in the design, on the design side for so many years, I have never thought even long before I even had my own yarns, but like I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago when I first started designing, it never made sense to me to make a design that dipped into an extra ball of yarn. I felt that was so impractical for customers on the other end of the spectrum. So I always thought if there was a way to use up leftovers or shorten the design so that it fit the parameter of the yardage of balls, it was always important to me. And so for this, I felt like it was such a small amount of yarn that was needed. I thought it was a great opportunity to show an example of color blocking and then give people the opportunity to say, hey, I could use something else instead of making it, having to buy a second ball of that yarn. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like my words are a mess this morning. Sorry about that. Let's see, what else is in here? Oh, so many pretty hats in here. So here's a tapestry crochet hat. This is the cocoa hat in tapestry crochet to look like animal print. You know how much I love cheetah print. Could the brim be flipped up also? Yeah, the brim, if your hats are long enough, yes, the brims can be flipped up. Here's a color work hat. Let's see, what's this one called? Flipping a brim up has to do with the length of the hat. So if the hat is exactly the right size, no, you would want to make your hat a little bit longer, or if the design is a little bit longer, then that's how you would flip up a brim. Okay, page 22. This is the Beck hat. Did you, for those of you that may not have remembered, Nastasia reviewed 24 Crochet Hats book a while back, and she actually made a version of this hat in one color that turned out so pretty. So don't feel limited to doing anything in the way that it's shown as well. This is done in multiple colors, but you could also do it in one color, and you know, the lace looks different in both ways, but it's beautiful in both ways. This is the Desiree hat, I believe. This is a beautiful stitch pattern. See if I've got it. Yeah, this is the Desiree hat. This is that beautiful delta stitch that we all love so much. And here it is as a hat. How gorgeous is that? Oh my God, I love this. This is one of my favorites, I think. And then here's an example of using broomstick lace? Broomstick lace as a medallion for the crown of the hat, and then working simple stitches for the body. Isn't that cool? Great way to experiment with not only broomstick lace, but it's called hairpin lace. Sorry, I knew I said it wrong. This is hairpin lace, and this is a strip of hairpin lace that's been turned into a medallion. I've done this several times over the years of not only making hairpin lace strips and hairpin lace wavy strips, but turning them into medallions is so cool. And so I did it for the crown of this hat. I've also done it as a motif for shawls in the past as well, but I think this is such a clever way to add a design detail to the top of a hat, or to the back of a hat, so you would see it back here, right? But also, if you've never dabbled in hairpin lace, it would be a great way to get some experience with it as well. I think this is called the Milo hat, but since I'm not remembering that well, I'm going to double check before I show you. 64. Yep, this is the Milo hat that I'm going to show you next. This one is in Be So Baby yarn. This hat is so fun. It definitely reminds me of like those Japanese sand gardens that people put on their desks, you know, to create those textures. That was the inspiration for making these little square motifs. And so these square motifs are joined to each other as you go, back and forth in rows. So you aren't cutting the yarn between each of the squares. And by working them in the back loop only, this is all single crochet through the back loop only, and creates this amazing texture. And for those of you that are specifically looking for unisex hats, I would say this could be one of the ones at the top of the list. Very unisex. Like I said though, I think they all could be. I don't want to limit anybody from wanting to do anything for anybody ever. size, whatever, anything. So this is the Milo hat. Let's see, this comes in 4 sizes. Some of the hats are 4 or 5 sizes depending on the design and what's required to create the sizes. Some of them were more practical than others to create the different sizes. Okay, this one's really fun too. Page 41. Okay, this is the Jamie hat. I thought it was a Jamie hat. And this one's done in seamless crochet, meaning you create the motif and join them as you go without cutting yarn between the motifs. And so it's square, traditional granny squares, and then I made the granny square into 6 sides for the crown to create the shaping to be able to join the square motifs on 6 sides to create the hat. Isn't that cool? All of that is written out. So this is done in one piece. You don't have to cut the yarn between motifs. They're joined as you go without cutting yarn. There's the hexagon crown, and there are the square granny squares along the sides, and then there's a little brim done at the bottom. Another thing to consider is whatever size you think you like to wear in a hat. So like, for example, this one might be 20 inches, okay? If you like your hat slouchier or bigger, you might consider making it larger. So this one I made the 20-inch size. This one I made the 24-inch size. And it's because I wanted to wear this hat looser. Just like in the Sylvia hat, some of the hats I make in bigger sizes because for the amount of, it goes back to garment design, the amount of negative or positive or no ease that I want in a project. So that brings me back to something else. In the tapestry crochet, there is a lot less give in this type of fabric than in a fabric where you don't carry other yarns. So you might want to consider sizing up on this or doing your gauge swatch, washing it, blocking it, and measuring it to make sure you're getting the right size. But if you're thinking that you've got wiggle room, you have less wiggle room in some techniques than you do in others, so keep that in mind as well. Someone wanted to see the cover again. This is 24 Crochet Hats. That's the book that I'm talking about today. It is an amazing resource for anybody who wants to learn new skills, have a resource book with lots of sizes on lots of different styles of hats, 24 to be exact. Plus it also features lots of different techniques, so there's a lot of ways to learn new things, experiment with new things, and then there's all the resources in there for even manipulating the hat designs for yarn substitution as well. So it's a super amazing resource. If you want to enter to win a free copy right now, you can head on over to Mowgli's blog. If you would like to order a copy, you can get it on Amazon Prime in whatever country you live in. If you want an autographed copy, personalized, you can order a paperback on my website. You can order an ebook on my website, and if there's only 1 hat or 2 hats you like, you can always just order the hats individually as PDF downloads on my website as well. So lots of ways that you can choose to enjoy the benefits of this book in whatever way works for you. If you have questions, always feel welcome to ask me as well. I am more than happy to share my thoughts, my opinions, or my experience with any of you. You know that. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the beach, the waves, the sunrise, chatting with me and everyone else, and of course all of my show and tell of trying on all these super cute hats. Thank you so much for taking time to spend a few minutes with me. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I will see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Kristin Omdahl Show. Bye-bye.